This woman woke to her Rottweiler barking. Then she realized something was terribly wrong. When one woman decided to lie down for a much-needed nap after working the graveyard shift, she never imagined the course of events that would follow. After waking up to the sound of her dog barking right in the middle of her snooze fest, she knew something was terribly wrong. You won't believe what happens next. Lisa Ryle was your normal middle-class American living with her husband and 2 children in Pickens County, Georgia. Luger was their 135-pound Rottweiler, a beloved family pet that she adored with all her heart. Despite his tough appearance, Luger was considered to be the perfect pet. He was loyal, protective, and one of the sweetest dogs you'd ever meet. And it would be one ordinary day that Luger would show his family how far he would go to keep them safe. It was a typical morning when Lisa returned home from working the night shift at the local chicken factory. Exhausted, she climbed into bed for a well-deserved rest, but was suddenly awoken by Luger's barking. After finally coming to, Lisa realized it was Luger trying to get her attention, something that was not out of the ordinary. However, she noticed that the sounds he was making were different, and she immediately became concerned. The dog woke me up by barking, but it wasn't his usual whine or howl like "I'm lonely, wake up, mama." It was a bark to get my attention, Lisa explained to Fox News. Concerned, Lisa got out of bed to check out what Luger was barking about. However, when she entered her living room, she was shocked to find a portion of her home was on fire. Not hesitating, she grabbed the fire extinguisher, but was horrified to discover it wasn't working. The fire soon became a blazing inferno. Realizing she needed to escape, Lisa rushed for the front door, but just as she pulled it open, the fire intensified. Screaming in terror, Lisa found herself covered in several painful burns. Lisa recounted the terrifying moment to the local media. "When I opened the front doors when the flashover occurred, it was from waist up to the ceiling that came all across the living room, and that's when I got burned and I couldn't get out of the screen door. I tried a couple times hitting it hard with my shoulder and the screen door wouldn't pop open." Thankfully, Lisa managed to escape the fire, but the raging flames destroyed her home and everything the family held dear. However, Lisa was able to see the bright side of the situation. When the fire broke out and began to wreak havoc on her home, Lisa had been the only one there. If it wasn't for Luger and his warning cries, she could have slept through the entire ordeal. Lisa's husband, Bill, is very grateful for the dog's actions. "If it weren't for him, there's no telling what would have happened," Bill said. "One real possibility, Lisa could have slept through the fire and been engulfed in the flames." Unfortunately, Lisa didn't escape the fire without injury. She endured third-degree burns to her hands and second-degree burns on her feet and face. Therefore, she needed some immediate medical attention. Despite Lisa's injuries, she still felt blessed. She claims she's very lucky that Luger was there to wake her up and believes God was watching out for both of them. In the end, it could have ended very differently. While the family did lose all their possessions, Lisa wasn't sweating the situation. Material things are always replaceable, Lisa mused. However, she only had one life, and thankfully Luger was there to protect it. "I'm so blessed to be alive. It could have been so much worse. If Luger hadn't made all that noise, I wouldn't have woken up. I was sleeping good that day," Lisa told Pickens Press. Relative Jessica Ryle knew that Lisa and her family didn't have the funds to rebuild their lives all on their own. Therefore, she set up a crowdfunding campaign on GoFundMe in order to raise donations. She hoped she could raise $10,000 in order to help with living expenses and replace some of their possessions. As time passed, the campaign was able to raise $6,000 for Lisa's family. However, one big question remained. Where was Luger? Did he survive the fire? With the questions regarding Luger's well-being rolling in, Lisa finally commented on her GoFundMe page that he had not been injured in the fire. In fact, he was doing better than ever. Talk about a sigh of relief. While it's taken some time, both Lisa and her beloved Pooch are doing well, although there's still more time to go before her family will be back on their feet. Lisa says that Luger is owed a steak dinner once things begin to settle down. We have to admit, we're a little jealous. Please share this with your friends and family.